Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony Jones, and I'm the Director of Equity with AIM Schools. And I just want to welcome you to our second session of our Educational Equity Planning.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Miller. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning, and we are here to help you prepare for our session coming up next week. All right. First, we wanted to let you know that we gathered a couple of things from your feedback from last time. So, the very first thing is that you said, by and large, that you wanted more time for discussion in your small groups and that you wanted less jargon from the staff, either in our conversations or explanations or in the actual plan. So we really appreciate that feedback and we're working hard to implement that for you. So one of the things, the changes that we're going to make is that in this video, we are going to overview the last two theories of action for our first goal so that you can review those before we get to the meeting. And then really the point of the meeting will be for you to spend almost a full hour in your teams discussing. We also rewrote some of the strategies so that hopefully they are in less jargony language. So we're still open to lots of feedback about that, but we did give it an attempt to sort of incorporate your feedback. As far as the substantive feedback, so actually what you said about the different components that we talked about the first two times, we're going to take all of that feedback, and then after this next meeting, then we will share with you our revisions. So we wanted to make sure we had all of the feedback before we made any changes. So as you remember, the goal that we're reviewing is the same goal from last time. So annually increase the reading growth for marginalized students on 3 key indicators until opportunity gaps are eliminated and all students are reading at grade level. And that's just a review of the data that we plan to look at. One thing we did update here, so thank you for the folks that reminded us that we did switch to third grade MAP assessment. So it's still a measure of reading, but we just wanted to be clear that in some places you'll see when we're comparing to last year or the year before, it's a different test. So it measures similar things, but it is a different test. So we wanted to include both of those on the key indicators.
So if you recall from our first session, we revealed the goal one with theory one and theory two. So here is goal one, theory three. And goal one, theory three is if we effectively implement research-based instructional practices, then we will see an annual increase in reading growth on 3 indicators until the opportunity gaps are eliminated and all students are reading at grade level. So goal one, theory three focuses on instructional practices. Here are the 2 strategies under theory three. And I just want to quickly explain a couple of terms for you within the strategies. And starting with strategy one, it states by the end of 2024, continued staff development focus on culturally responsive teaching practices with a focus on assessing, being aware of personal biases and identifying, quote, cultural behaviors, unquote. And so I just want to quickly just explain to you what we mean by cultural behavior. Cultural behaviors are cultural tendencies that impact the way children participate in education. And so when teachers engage students effectively in the learning process, one of the things that we ask teachers to do within this strategy is that teachers must know their students and their academic abilities individually rather than rely on racial or ethnic stereotypes or prior experience with other students of similar backgrounds. So that's why cultural behaviors are in quotations, right? So we want to be able to remove teachers from using the strategy of previous experiences of students and getting to know students individually. And from that particular strategy and description, each building will have a specific continuous improvement plan, goal, or an action plan with listed specific strategies to support culturally responsive teaching. Strategy two states by the end of 2024, all buildings will embed culturally responsive teaching, professional learning into the 2-hour professional learning each month with support from teaching and learning department. And you'll be able to get more of that description of these two strategies within the feedback form.
All right. Goal one, theory three strategies. There's two additional strategies. One of them is that we will implement the Danielson framework for learning. And one note about that, so in the Google form, that's pretty much all you'll see. The current version of the Danielson framework is being updated pretty substantially. Unfortunately, the publication isn't coming out. We think their best estimate is that it will come out in March. So before the work of this team is done, we'll be able to share a public copy of the Danielson framework, and this team would be able to review it and then give more meaningful feedback on how you feel about it. But I can share with you the major shifts. If you were to Google the Danielson framework right now, you'll see one from 2013 that's really focused on teacher behaviors. One of the biggest shifts in the new one is that it's really focused on students and sharing space with students, sharing more opportunities for student voice and choice, co-created learning environments. So there's some really good strategies that are supported by some of the reading and learning I've been doing and we've been doing as a district on what would better support our students who aren't currently experiencing success in our system. So it might sound like a big, broad strategy, but some of the real specific language of the framework will be equity strategies or strategies to increase equity in the district. So that one you might not be able to give a lot of feedback on now, and we understand that. The last one is that we will have clear and equitable expectations for all staff around the use of instructional time, content area standards, instructional materials, instructional strategies, assessments, and collaborative supports. And those, you can see there's 6 things in that list. And the state of Iowa has come up with, hey, when you're talking about instruction all kids get, which we call tier 1, you really need to consider these 6 things. So in the Google form, it gives you a specific example, because again, you might think, well, instructional time, all kids should get a certain amount of instructional time probably. Like, how is that an equity-based strategy? And so in the Google form, you'll see that a specific goal or equitable expectation around instructional time is that all students have access to core instruction from the teacher. Right? So if we have a 90-minute literacy block and we do a time study across the district, we might find that because of other situations, so it might be that a student is leaving for an intervention or a student is disciplined and so they're sent to the principal's office and so they are missing instructional time, right? So it seems like, oh yeah, it's in the schedule, everybody has it. But if you really go in and investigate who has it and who doesn't, you're probably going to see patterns. We did this a couple of years ago and we saw some patterns around who had access to instructional time and who didn't. So really making a concrete goal around that. But those are probably building level goals because instructional time looks different in different content areas at different grade levels. So the Google form, like I said, walks you through each one of those 6 pieces, and you can kind of see what we're thinking about in terms of that. So this is the big strategy level.
So the theory that I'm really the most excited about, and again, I'm excited about all of the theories, but this is probably the one that I'm most excited about. Theory 4 states that if staff operate from a mindset that marginalized students can and desire to learn at high levels, then we will see an annual increase in reading growth on 3 indicators until opportunity gaps are eliminated and all students are reading at grade level. Again, this particular theory focuses on mindset. We have 3 strategies around this particular theory. And again, I won't read them all, but I just want to highlight the one that you probably heard us talk the most about, and that is strategy 2. And so, again, we're going to make a commitment. We're still making a commitment around critical consciousness professional learning. And it states by the end of 2022-23, which is next year, starting in the fall, 100% of all building staff and ACSD board members will know what critical consciousness is and will have received professional learning with the use of resources provided by Dr. Spikes and Dr. Swalwell. And you've heard us use those 2 names who were previously professors at Iowa State, However, through our consultation with them, we have all of the training and resources that they took us through as leaders who were involved in the original critical consciousness professional learning. And again, as you can see, we've also added our board members. And so our board members will also go through the training. We also have a process where our new teachers and our new leaders who enter the district will also go through this critical consciousness learning. And so I wanted to highlight strategy 2. And again, you can pause this part and read the 3 strategies. And then when you go to the Google form, you will see more explanation about these 3 strategies.
Okay, so we wanted to just kind of talk you through what our next session is going to look like when we meet, whether you come on Monday or Thursday. And remember, if you can't meet either of those times, you're welcome to give feedback on the Google form independently. But our process is going to be that we're going to talk about our group goals and reestablish our group agreements. And then our goal is to give you 20 minutes of discussion and feedback time for each theory so that you have the large majority of the meeting is to talk with each other in small groups about these strategies and theories of action. And then we'll close together as a group to answer any questions. And just a reminder, those feedback sessions, you can join either one. We will record any presentations that Dr. Jones or I do on Monday, February 21st at 4 p.m. And just to ensure that the Thursday group has the exact same experience. But the folks you may interact with might be the same as last time, or there might be different folks. Everybody's schedule is different. So we encourage you to attend whichever one of these works better in your calendar. And we can't wait to see you there.